Welcome to the Ghee Chocolate Extravaganza. We are so excited to have Richard Port in the kitchen with us today, making buttermints. This was such a popular class. We added it as a live last year, me kind of following you around, showing, seeing what we could do. And so we decided we needed to have this in official format, something that we could have for our records because this is such a fun topic. Tell me exactly, first off, how were you introduced to making buttermints?
Okay, thank you. We lived in Sanpete County.
Okay.
And there was a woman who lived in the town of Moroni. And she makes buttermints for the Line House up here in Salt Lake. And for the Deseret Book store.
Okay.
She learned it from her father. And it's one of those tricks, it's one of those things that once you learn it, you can do it, but it takes a lot to learn.
Okay.
And so I asked her, I said, can I learn how to do this? And she said, yeah, definitely. She so showed a lot of people how to do it. So I went to her house and made them. They turned out great. Thought, oh good, I made them. So I brought some of her stuff, went home and made them again. Well, they didn't quite turn out. So I thought I tried them again. They didn't quite turn out. So I kind of gave up. And then I thought, it's candy.
It's sugar, right?
So I tried them again, and they kind of turned out. By the end of the week, I had Band-Aids on every hand, on every finger, because I got burned. Anyways, and so then a couple months later, she called me and she said, look, my hand is injured. I need you to come and pull these mints. And I said, oh.
I can't do it.
Okay, I can't say no.
Yes.
So I went over there and I pulled them and they worked. So I just kept trying, and so they still, once in a while, they don't work. But I made so many now, probably 47,000 of them.
Oh my gosh.
But they work, and sometimes they don't. Buttermints are one of those things, it's an old family recipe. It's an old Christmas traditional type of recipe. It's very simple ingredients. It's water, sugar, and butter, and peppermint oil. And that's it, very simple ingredients. It's, but the weather makes a big difference. Your equipment makes a big difference. They're just fun to make, but they're very unforgiving.
Yes.
They don't allow for mistakes.
If you were to describe what a buttermint is to someone who's never experienced, how would you describe it?
They're just a soft, little, pillowy bit of heaven.
They're hard to the touch, so that it's not squishy like the nougat or a marshmallow, but when you put it in your mouth,
they just disappear.
It just is like heaven.
And it's really weird because when we make them, they'll be hard as a rock, and you'll think, well, that's... But then you put them in an airtight container, and you leave them in there for 24 hours. Then you take them out and they just melt in your mouth. And it's one of those mysteries.
It really is.
You have no idea how they work, they just do.
And Richard has been a part of our chocolate extravaganza from the beginning. We were introduced to him through chocolate classes here and somehow just discovered the magic and the things that he creates in the kitchen. And this is really one of the things that we were first introduced because it does feel like such an accomplishment. You know, the polling and the temperatures can feel a little daunting.
Yes.
But I think we're here to show you that number one, practice, practice, practice. And number two, don't be afraid of it. It is simple, inexpensive ingredients that if for some reason it doesn't turn out, you can start over.
Right, it's not the end of the world. And a lot of times you can save the batch and redo it.
Okay. And
sometimes I've had to resort to that. Don't be intimidated, don't be scared by it, just do it. You need to have a good stone or a stone countertop to put it on. Okay. And so then you have a stone here.
So natural stone.
Natural stone.
Okay.
This is just a sink cutout is all this is. I got this at the store for $10, a place that does granite.
So go to the tile or the granite shops and see if they've got some remnants. It's a great way.
Right. Now, I've got a pan here.
This is so fun. This is Richard's true candy making pan. This is the pan he brings to class. Tell me why you use this pan.
It was my wife's grandmother's pan, and it's just a precious pan. It just works so good. And it works perfect for the buttermints. It works perfect for candy because it's a heavy bottom pan. Has straight sides. It just meets all the requirements.
But we oftentimes recommend as people are baking and doing things is to get to know your oven and get to know your stove, get to know your thing. Same thing applies here. Get to know your pan, right?
Oh, definitely.
Understand how it's going to heat up. Understand how quickly things are going to happen. I feel like this is like your third hand.
It is. And I tried getting rid of this, but I can't. The patina is just there.
Don't get rid of it.
It's not going to.
It's character.
It is. If our house ever caught on fire, I would grab this pan. It's that precious.
It is amazing. I love when Richard shows up for class and pulls this out. It's like, all right, we're going to use my pan because I know how it's going to work. Say someone doesn't have a heritage pan like this, what is a pan that you would recommend?
A good pan is the ones they sell here at the Staub.
Oh, we talked a lot about that one.
Yes, those work very well.
Okay, so you're wanting something with thick, heavy sides.
You need a heavy pan
Okay.
with nice tall sides, and
Okay.
the coquette, is that right?
Mhm.
Those pans work great. If you can't find one of those, I get them here. Go to the DI, find a pressure cooker pan like that.
Okay.
It needs to be heavy. You want a heavy bottom pan,
And then get to know it.
and get to know it.
We've got our
Our
marble
stone.
slab, our pan.
You need to have a good thermometer.
Okay.
And this digital thermometer right here is the answer.
Okay.
This is very unforgiving. Like I said, you take it to the temperature and you're done.
Okay.
Don't go over.
So the difference between a digital thermometer and say like the old mercury style, the mercury style are maybe just not as
They're not as accurate.
Okay.
This one here clips to the pan. You can see it. You can watch it go up and down. The old mercury style, you're standing like this and you're like this. And you're
Yes.
trying to see what.
And I think it's coming from a different angle too. It
Yes.
just tells you
It does.
where it's at.
And they used them before and they worked. But this is what I prefer now. It is
We've
called
evolved.
the oil,
Yeah.
oil and candy thermometer.
Okay.
And it works very well. And you want a dough knife to scrape it. You need a good chef knife to cut them.
Or some scissors.
Or scissors, and you need a good airtight container. That's it.
So simple things that we should have, especially as we're going around making candy or chocolate
Yes.
this week. All of these things are things that we're already recommending to have. Tell me about our ingredients. We mentioned how simple it is. We've got sugar.
Right. So go ahead and pour those in. We've got
Into the bowl?
Take the lid off. We have 1 cup of water. Add that first.
Out of the water first, okay?
1 cup of water.
You're trusting me.
Oh, always. And then 3 cups of sugar right in the center.
Okay, in the center. And why are we putting it in the center?
Because we don't stir this, and we want the sugar to stay in the center.
Okay.
And so 3 cups of sugar and 1 cube of butter. And the butter needs to be a good quality butter.
Okay.
Try to avoid the store brand.
So tell me what you see the difference is in the butter.
The higher,
straight in?
just right in the middle. Higher cream content, just a better produced butter.
Okay.
And this is unsalted. You want to try to always use unsalted butter.
Okay.
Because you should be in charge of your salt, not the butter maker.
Yes.
And when they make butter, half the batch is salted and half isn't.
Okay.
So the salted butter is older.
Oh, okay.
The salt's a preservative. So unsalted butter is fresher.
Fresher. I like that.
Okay, so we have.
So before we even get started with our cooking, you're going to prepare your pan, right?
Because when you start cutting, you have to keep cutting, and you don't have time to do this. So this is ready.
Part of your mise en place.
That goes over there. Our mise en place. And our knife goes over here.
Okay.
Now, we're good to go. So now we're going to put this on the stove and
Get cooking.
get cooking. And we do not stir it, because if we stir it, we cause crystals. Crystals are the enemy of candy. So we have the ingredients in here, and of course with this old pan, I don't have the right lid, so I just have a lid that fits. You use what you have.
Well, I love that you are, like, because sometimes I think we want to try these things, but the tools or the equipment scares us away. And so knowing that we have I love that your lid does not match your pan, and it is, it just goes to show, get to know what you have versus feeling like you have to go out and buy the most expensive things.
This is just what I had around the house and it fits.
Okay.
Because what we're doing is we're going to let it come to a boil and wash the sides of the pan.
Okay.
The steam.
And tell me how you wash the sides.
We're going to let the steam do it first, then we're going to use a brush with water on it and do the sides.
And that's preventing crystallization?
Make sure all the sugar is incorporated.
With the crystallization, when that happens, is that something
It'll ruin the batch.
that you'll notice as it's still in the pot, or as you're doing the pulling? Okay.
You'll notice as you're pulling that you'll know, oh shoot, something's wrong.
Okay.
Okay, now back to our stone for a second.
Ooh.
So now remember, we're not building a piano.
So it doesn't have to be.
So it doesn't have to be.
I feel like sometimes with this, especially candy making, you are a master at pastries, Queen of Mons, which is like one of my most favorite treats, but also so daunting.
Yeah.
You're showing that, like, sometimes just don't sweat the small stuff, right?
Exactly. You just take a cube of butter and mark it into fifths. It doesn't have to be 100%. And you want to put a circle on your stone. It's about 18 inches or so. Put a nice circle of butter on there, and then also on the dough knife.
Okay. And is our stone chilled, or?
This is kind of cold. It's been out. It was in my car trunk.
Okay.
So it's a little cold. I prefer, it needs to be cold if you can.
Does that make your butter harden though as you're spreading, or is that okay?
No, this is just
okay.
right.
Okay.
You can see the butter.
It's still
If the
spreadable.
butter was to melt, then it'd be a problem.
Okay.
So this is just right.
So if you're doing this in a warm house or something, try and keep this chilled.
Oh yeah, put vegetables on it, put a cold turkey on it.
I'll pull my turkey out.
Yeah, put a turkey out on it, bags of peas,
Okay.
whatever you need to, just put on it to cool it down.
Okay.
Okay, so I have my oil, and this is
Loran
peppermint oil. So I'm just gonna put it in. I've got that ready.
Have you tried it with different, I know some people prefer like a wintergreen or spearmint.
Spearmint works really good. You
Okay.
can make it like green for spearmint.
Okay.
And you can color this if you want.
When do you color? At the same time you're flavoring?
Uh-huh.
Okay. What other flavors have you done?
I've done lavender.
Okay. How about orange, or I'm trying to think of other, even a cinnamon?
Cinnamon would work.
Okay.
But once again, they're butter mints.
Okay. So stay
So
with the
stick
mint.
with the butter.
Okay,
with the
I'll
pepper.
keep it pure as Richard.
Now these are really, really good also in hot chocolate.
Oh, okay.
And so if you have some that don't quite work out, they're really good in hot chocolate.
Those people that are out making hot chocolate bombs,
Yes.
this is what you need inside.
Exactly. These are really good in hot chocolate.
How long does this part over here normally take?
It takes a few minutes. See, it's already starting to boil.
But we're not stirring, we're not touching, we're
And
just...
that's really hard for some people
Yes.
to not stir it, but don't stir it.
Okay.
Let the water, the agitation of the bubbles will stir it. Okay? So now we just wait.
Okay.
But when you put the peppermint oil on this and you have Christmas music playing, it is just like Christmas. It really invokes those Christmas memories.
When do you start doing this?
I'll start doing it pretty soon.
Okay, in November.
Yeah, and they don't store that long,
Okay.
so I'll have to freeze them, which they do freeze.
They do freeze, okay.
And so like I freeze them in a container, then I'm going to thaw them in the same container until they're thawed, then divide them up.
Okay.
But usually I get closer to Christmas.
How many
But-
batches do you think you make every holiday
Oh,
season?
I don't know. My hands hurt, my back hurts. Because it's like, oh, I need to make some more,
Oh,
you know, but they just, and it's like I'll wake up in the morning and think, okay, I've got to get these done. Look outside, it's like, oh, it's clear. I can make some.
which is something we actually haven't addressed yet.
We haven't.
Is the weather. So during one of our chocolate events, we did a demo class that had a theater full of people. They turned out beautifully. It was so fun to see it. And then we thought, well, we should also offer it a hands-on, because there is a learning curve to experience as you're doing it hands-on. And in the meantime, between that demonstration class to our hands-on class, a storm had come in and completely changed.
They would not work.
Yeah.
We tried going in the freezer and pulling them, and they would not work. We just had to.
So when you are preparing to make your buttermints, what are you looking for as like the perfect weather?
You want just so it's just a nice clear day.
Okay.
You can handle a little bit of clouds, will be okay. Snowstorm, no.
So, what if there's one coming in maybe like that evening? I mean, is
They've
there
done before.
okay?
But it can get.
Is there a few
quickly.
hours in between there that you kind of have
It
like
depends.
a window?
I've done like 6 batches. The first 3 worked, the next 3 didn't because the storm was getting close.
Okay.
So you just have to watch. But a
Which
snowy
is
day.
part of the fun in the
It is.
winter, right? Because
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like divinity, toffee. They don't work in storms,
okay.
and so it's one of those things. I don't know, can't explain it.
No.
Now we've got a good boil here,
Okay.
and we're going to now put our thermometer on. Turn it
So
on.
you left the lid on until this point, and then this. How long would you say that was?
About 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay.
Okay, now I'm just going to wash the sides of the pan. Have a silicone brush with some water on it.
Do you worry about getting too much water like on your brush, or is it
No,
okay?
it's
It won't
okay.
hold enough to
No.
ruin it.
These brushes are great for this. I've used a bristle brush, and they work just as fine.
Okay.
Okay, our thermometer's in. We're letting this cook to 256.
Okay.
There.
So when you're making candy, oftentimes you're not scraping the pan, right?
Never scrape
okay.
the pan. You think, oh, that's one more buttermint. Well, it's not worth it. For some reason,
Crystallization, right?
turn it off, please. For some reason, the sugar in the bottom of the pan is a different temperature.
Okay.
So now I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 drops of oil.
I have to admire that you had the confidence that this was not, I kind of was eyeballing it, like, it's coming off the table. But you knew that it was going to cool it enough to slow it down.
But right now we're letting the stone take the heat out of the candy. So now we're going to start working it. And we got our fan going. You don't always have to have a fan, but sometimes it helps if you're worried if it's warm. And it's kind of warm. Right now this is too hot to touch. And this is one of those things that, like, it's a fifth of a cube of butter.
Okay.
Well, who decided fifth?
Right.
Well, it just worked out. So.
It was our stingy past family members that were like, I'm not wasting a fourth.
Exactly.
Tell me how it got its name. Do you know?
I really don't know.
Because there's not actually a ton of butter in
There's
it.
not. There's not a ton of butter, but there's just enough that they're called buttermints.
Okay.
But I thought it was interesting, the traditions people have with adding these to their baskets at Christmas.
Yeah.
They need these on their Christmas table. I was reading some stories about buttermints in the South, and the governor called this one lady every year. He calls this one lady. He needs his buttermints for his Christmas dinner.
Oh.
His Christmas table.
Because it's a tradition.
Yeah, and then once you can start to handle it, you're going to start pulling it.
So when it's cool enough to touch.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still kind of warm.
Okay.
You kind of get asbestos fingers, but you know, it's.
Have your fingers become, as the season goes on, do they become
yeah,
numb to it?
They get more calloused.
So as you're pulling this, I'm noticing you're twisting it.
Yeah, I'm twisting it every time, and I pull it in thirds. So sometimes you can do it if you have, you know, back problems or something. You could do it
So
like
I'm trying
that.
to like understand. So you're go slow, so I can
Okay.
feel your.
So you take it,
Okay.
third over the hand and down.
Okay, and then
Twist.
you're twisting it as you're throwing it down.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Twist. Up, over the hand, down. I think it's just part of the pulling process, getting the air incorporated. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. What am I doing?
You're gonna pull it.
Oh no!
You can do it. Okay, pull.
Oh, I feel so nervous.
Just pull.
Okay, so pull out.
Pull out.
And then, nope.
You're okay. You're okay. Just pull it out.
You gotta do it.
Okay. Here, do it like this. Keep it on the table and pull it like this in thirds.
Okay, I can handle that. We'll just put
Perfect.
this part in.
Perfect.
Is there a certain amount that I'm trying to pull each time?
You just want to give it a good pull.
Okay.
Use your stone. Use both the length of the
So
stone.
press it down or
No,
no?
just
Okay, so just
See, you're doing it.
okay. This is a little less daunting than the up in the air. It's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of like throwing a pizza, right?
It's not. It's just fine. You can pull it up, grab a third, pull it over.
But you do it so beautifully.
Well, I've done this 47,000 times. That's an exaggeration, but
No, I bet it's not.
okay. Go ahead. You can do it. You're doing just fine.
I'll just keep doing this.
That's fine. See? You can do it.
And what am I looking for to
You
know?
want it, you'll see that you'll feel that it starts to feel a little tighter.
Okay.
The color's starting to change a little bit,
Okay.
isn't it?
Yes, and I do feel that the texture has changed, even
It is.
from like the few
Right.
pulls in between that I did.
The texture's changing and it's starting to get a little stiffer on you. Then you know that it's almost there.
So now, are we in the safe zone?
We're good.
Okay.
Yes, we're safe.
I like watching you.
You're just fine. Just go ahead and give it a good pull. Okay? Just pull it out. You have a thin part. Go below that.
Okay.
Twist it. And now you got to get to the point, and you'll get there where it doesn't go back together. See how these strips out here?
Yes.
If that happens, they don't go back together, then you pull too much. But we're okay.
Did I ruin it?
No, not at all. You did just fine.
Sure.
You did great.
And all the years that I've watched you do this, I've actually never made them
I know.
myself. you give me a good supply and I hide them from my family.
And that's how it should be.
My 14-year-old actually came last year and I said, oh, this is Richard that makes the Buttermints. And she was like, the what?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think I've ever taken them home because I eat them all here.
And that's okay.
But no, I need to go home and really master
Okay, now
this.
pull it, because you'll feel the difference.
Oh, yeah.
See the difference?
Yes.
Notice the color.
It's getting lighter.
It's more matted.
Yeah.
Not quite as satiny. It's more matted.
Sorry, I'm not moving.
No, you're just doing fine. You're doing just fine.
Overall, how long do you say you pull for?
Probably about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
It depends on the batch, but it's getting there.
Okay.
So we're about done.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're going to take it. Because now it's getting harder to pull. So we give it a really good twist. And we're going to pull out that piece. And we're going to cut it.
Okay.
And then use your stone. And you're going to pull it out and twist. Okay, so you just keep pulling this out till you get that. We're going to take our shears to begin with,
Okay.
and a pan, and we're just going to cut them. And every time you cut, you turn.
So it gives it a different angle.
Yeah. Now taste one.
Okay. They're very chewy.
There's no taste.
No, they're very, very chewy.
Watch your fillings. Okay, now you're going to taste one. In a minute, it's done. Okay, but not very good. You're thinking, what's all the fuss about those?
Thanks a lot, Richard.
That was impressive.
Now I gotta go see my dentist.
Yeah, that was impressive. But just you wait.
You love being the person who exposes people to the world of Buttermints. I feel
Yeah,
like
I
because
do.
there's a little bit of a lost art, I think of Buttermints and I think of you. And so
Yeah.
I think being able to offer something that is a little bit more unique and something that comes from your kitchen, I look at that and go, this is Richard.
Yeah, I thank you, and I do. I like, people. I like to know how many people can make them.
Yeah.
How many have tried? How many have we taught?
Yes. How many people have experienced the Buttermint love? But there's something special to be said, when you receive a gift, knowing that there was time and energy, and
Good
even
point.
though it was simple ingredients, this is your time.
Now just picture Christmas music playing.
Jingle bells.
Yeah.
I can't sing.
Oh, you can too. So see, I'm just taking a chef knife and just cutting the rest of them on the stone. The stone won't hurt it.
We did good though. Like, this is amazing. There's always like the underlining. I feel like every time you come to do this, we just, okay, now cross your fingers
Oh,
and it works.
I know we do.
And so,
Please make these work.
especially when you've got a class full of 14 people who have come to learn
Right.
and experience it, when there's some different variables that you are totally out of your control.
Right. Okay, now we just put these aside and voila. Now,
Power
this
of TV.
yeah, through the power of. Now these were made 24 hours ago. Now come and taste these.
Okay, come on, guys. I feel like we need to show the difference in texture. This is a piece that we just made, and this is one that this. How long ago did you say?
24 hours.
24 hours. So they've been sitting in this airtight container
For 24 hours.
24 hours.
Now, is that different?
So good.
Isn't that totally different than what the sample was?
It just melts in your
It
mouth.
does.
It coats all of those
It's so
senses. I can smell it. I can taste it. I just want to. Can I bathe in it?
Yes.
Okay.
I might have got a little heavy hand on the peppermint.
It's really good though.
Okay,
no,
good.
it's really good.
Okay. Because sometimes I stub my toe putting the peppermint on and it's like, oh.
Any last tips for those who maybe have not ever experienced this, or maybe haven't?
Just
haven't
take them to
been
this
successful?
point here. Just let them sit and then uncover them. Enjoy them, but just do it. Make memories and make traditions and make
Just make them.
yeah. If they go to sugar, put them back on the stove.
Okay.
Add 1 cup of water, No more butter, no more sugar, no more peppermint. Put 1 cup of water, take them back up to the temperature, and redo them.
So when you say they go to sugar, what does that mean?
All of a sudden, those have a lump of sugar.
So as we're trying to fold it, it just crumbles, right? It goes into little pieces.
Yeah, and just like, whoa.
Okay.
What happened there?
So that is fixable. We then put it back on the stove.
Yes, and so, but when the weather has changed or something like that, and then they'll be darker
Okay.
because you've double cooked them, but they will work.
Still tastes good.
Yes, they'll still taste good.
Awesome.
So please try them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We hope this inspires you to jump into the kitchen, enjoy making some candy, create some new traditions, and most of all, hopefully one day join us in a class together.
Yes.
This is Richard, where he excels and it's just so amazing. So he's a fantastic teacher. We love having him here again for our 11th year in a row. We wouldn't be the extravaganza without
Well, thank you.
So
Appreciate that. Thank
go
you.
home and make some buttermints now.
Do it.